Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello, everyone. I am joined today by the GOAT, Chael Sonnen. Chael, how are we doing today?
Awesome. Still rich and still famous. I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yes,
How's
sir,
everything with you?
Everything's great, Chael.
Awesome.
Everything's great. So I just wanted to ask you about
How am I doing? That's an interesting question. Have you seen my wife? Oh, this girl's a dime. Every day is a good day. Huh? In the Sonnen household.
I could imagine. So, Bellator 300, we're here in San Diego.
Oh, that. You're here to talk about that. Right. All right. That would make sense. All right. Bellator 300.
So
you're talking about the one that's on Saturday,
yes.
10 o'clock Eastern on Showtime.
Yes.
I've heard of it. All right.
Right here in the back.
The one where you could get tickets at access.com.
Yes.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
I think you actually mediated the press conference for it today.
Yes.
Just tell me a little bit, how did you end up in that role, mediating Bellator press conferences?
I was so happy I was there. I got invited, and what an honor, because this is historic. I got to tell you, I'm a historian on the sport. You could go to Google, or you could just ask me. I really pay attention. I really know these things, and I didn't realize this is the first ever 300. I didn't realize the UFCs is still coming, and Chachery's probably half a decade away. I don't know that Eddie Hearn has done 300. I don't think Bob Arum has done 300. I know Don King didn't do 300. This is an incredible deal, and I noticed how humble Scott Coker was. He didn't really take a bow for that. He went up there and wanted all the attention to be on the athletes. Scott Coker has created something so great that allegedly somebody wants to buy it. And I know that's like this big secret in the sport. It's supposed to make everybody uncomfortable. That's a compliment. Whether the sale goes through or not, if you ever create something and your idea was so good that somebody else wants to buy it from you, you should feel very proud of that.
So what is your opinion on, Bellator potentially being bought out and, PFL merging with them potentially? What is your opinion on the competition in MMA promotions?
Sure. Well, I don't know if there's going to be less competition. And I'm only as good as the rumors that are out there. But there was everything from... Nobody hid the fact that the PFL wanted to make the purchase. But then it did get released 3 weeks ago. It didn't work out and talks are over. And apparently we're finding out that's the great swerve to throw us off the trailers. I don't know that I understand it, but you don't see a lot of acquisitions like this. Maybe there's a playbook out there somewhere. And but I don't know. I have to correct one thing, because so many people have said, okay, they're going to merge and this isn't good and we need competition. There's going to be more of a monopoly. Nobody has said that the same dates aren't going to stay, though. That's the one thing that people have missed. Even if you got one huge bank account that it's coming from, if you have just as many events, you have just as much opportunity.
Very true. Very true. So there's been an upcoming fight that's kind of been being talked about. You commented on it a bit before. Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich. Is that a fight that interests you? And would you see that fight potentially being for a vacant heavyweight title if John Jones and Stipe retire? The
most interesting guy in heavyweight right now is the same guy that's been interesting last year, the year before that, and it's Tom Aspinall. Right? We didn't even know if John Jones was going to go to heavyweight. Now that he is heavyweight, he's the champion, and he's never been punched in the face by a heavyweight. I don't even think he's punched a heavyweight in the face. I can't. That's surreal. I'd have to go back, but I don't even think they punched each other.
I don't know if they did.
Yeah, he's GOAT. He's ranked number 1. They got this belt around his waist. I'm not giving John a hard time. I'm talking about to bring in interest. The fact that you and I are here on a different continent discussing Tom Aspinall, I think it's a big deal.
It is.
And Tom Aspinall is the one that went out and laid this roadmap, right? He gets done in England after his last fight, which was a first-round stoppage, gets done with that fight, and he lays out a round robin that involves Surreal. It involved Surreal's last opponent. It left out Pavlich. But he still put a plan together that he got Michael Bisping to co-sign before they went off air. Tom Aspinall did an amazing thing. Then he gets on an airplane, flies his house to France, sits in the front row, so this huge fight can be made, and Surreal gone, dropped the ball. But either way, Tom Aspinall's doing everything right. And the problem with Pavlich is now people know. And you've got all these fake tough guys. I got to call them fake. Behind the scenes, you can't even get these guys fights. Aspinall's been calling for it. It's Aspinall's idea, and it's his 4th idea. He'll fight any one of those guys, and he deserves credit for that.
Is Aspinall your favorite prospect in MMA right now? You speak very highly of him.
I like the fact of the entertainment aspect. I do feel like from a potential standpoint, he is fantastic. Okay. I am not as convinced as Michael Bisping is that he's there right now. Okay. I do believe he's a top 5 guy. Okay. I do believe you could put him in for the championship, and on enough tries, he's going to get it. But I also think, like any piece of coal, it takes some time and some pressure to create a diamond, and I think 12 months from now, we're having a very different conversation in a positive direction for Tom.
Okay. UFC 294 coming up, Charles versus Islam. You had originally said that you didn't expect Charles to make it to fight day. You expected Justin Gaethje to fill in and take his place, and then take the Islam fight. Do you still hold that belief, or now that we've gotten a bit closer to the fight, do you still feel like Charles is going to drop out?
My source for Charles not making the date on October 22nd is none other than Charles. He went on his Twitter account and announced he's fighting Conor McGregor. He sat down and did an interview and said, I'll fight Islam, but I'm hurt and I can't do that date. And he did another interview where he flat out said, I'm not going to fight Islam. So, I mean, it's one of these interesting things where I don't know quite yet where Charles is playing with us. For example, he did an interview a couple of days ago and he said, it's not fair, I got to fight him in Abu Dhabi. Charles's plane ride to Abu Dhabi is 5 hours shorter than Islam's. It is Charles's backyard more than it is Islam's. It's a very weird thing. And nobody here in the States is asking for that fight. And I do mean nobody. Charles doesn't get this opportunity if somebody with some pull in Abu Dhabi didn't ask them to make this fight. That's the truth of it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for me, Chael. Thank you. I appreciate everything.
I've had it with you anyway. Goodbye.
Great talking to you.